So, lads, we are now into the last month before the NBA draft. So, now the news is starting to really heat up. Teams are going in for workouts with players, and news will come out from these workouts, and we're going to be seeing more and more things pop up. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors, because let's be real. More than likely, this year's draft is not going to have someone that's going to lead a team to an NBA championship, apart from the Lamelo Ball stands that think he is. Lamelo Ball's likely to be around the same level as Lonzo, maybe a bit more offensive. But you've got Golden State, who are looking to trade that pick, but it's looking less and less likely like any team's going to trade with them. So it's looking like they're going to have to make a pick for their team, someone that will play for them. Because it's unlikely they'll be able to trade down. Unless, again, if they can make a trade, something like Chicago, if Chicago are really high on LaMelo, they can trade down to 4 and then manage to get, say, an extra pick out of this, that would be unbelievable, because I think this guy's going to be available at 4. But in this video, we're going to be talking about a prospect that is looking more and more likely day by day that the Warriors are going to draft number 2. And in my opinion, I called it from the start that I thought the Warriors were going to trade down and try to pick up this guy, but it's looking more and more likely that he could go number 2 in this year's draft. And that player is Deni Avdija. If you guys have been fans of this channel for quite a while, you guys will know I made a video on Deni Avdija back in 2018. The first time I ever saw him play was in the FIBA Under-20s European Championship. I think it was in 2018. And the big reason why I watched this Israel team play was I had a friend who was on the Spanish team, and Israel destroyed Spain. The guy I'm friends with, Alish Font, was Spain's top scorer the whole way, and Israel's completely marked him out of the game, and Deni balled. So I watched him the rest of the competition, and he was MVP of the whole competition, playing with kids 3 years older than him. So I kind of knew it was a big thing then. But Deni hasn't really, like, on the Euroleague level, one thing that people try to say is a flaw is that Deni didn't play much for Maccabi. He was the MVP of the Israeli League, which he was the youngest MVP ever in Israeli League history. As well as that, he didn't play too much in Euroleague, but Luka didn't play that. I know Luka won MVP, but it's not like Luka was playing 35 out of 40 minutes a game, like people thought. I went over to see Luka Doncic play against Barcelona while he was still in Madrid, and Luka didn't start the game. Luka didn't start probably 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10 games he wouldn't start. Like, Luka was not a nailed-on star of that Real Madrid team. He was their best player, but in EuroLeague, they don't play young players. I mean, in terms of the ACB, the last young player that really led a team, and I get it, Luka was the best player on Real Madrid, but that team was led by Felipe Reyes, Rudy Fernandez, JC Carroll. They had Gustavo Ayón that year. So they had a bunch of players. Luka just happened to be their best player. The last time was really a young player led was Ricky Rubio. But Ricky Rubio at 17 was better than any 17-year-old I've ever seen, to be completely honest. But Deni didn't play too much in EuroLeague. So a lot of people are now saying that because he didn't play in EuroLeague, that he wasn't good enough for EuroLeague, therefore he's not going to be good enough for the NBA. It's just not true. It's just not true. Like, he didn't play in EuroLeague because he's young, and it's the second best league in the world. So, people that have been talking about Deni in the draft, the mystery man of the draft. He's only the mystery man for people that haven't been watching him over the last few years. Like, if you guys have been keeping up to date with Deni Avdija, you'll know that this guy has been projected to be a top 5 pick in this draft for the last 2 years. He was projected back, even obviously James Wiseman was projected to be number 1. In general, Wiseman had been seen as the number 1 pick and the expected player to go there. But just in general, I mean, Deni was expected to go somewhere in the top 5, and all he's done is be equally as good as expected, exactly like Luka Doncic. And there's an article here from Bleacher Report, which was actually yesterday. is Deni Avdija a safe bet or a future star? And that is the only kind of downside to Deni Avdija. And it's one of the funny things is that, like, he's not much of a shooter. I'm going to say that right now. Like, he can hit wide open, but he's not that much of a shooter. And in fairness to this article, unlike most of these, like, especially articles about European players from these American, American websites, this is actually a fairly, well thought out article and actually makes good points. Like, the fact that he played mostly off the ball, but for Israel, he was used as a primary ball handler and did really well, which, again, it was playing against younger players, so it's a little bit different. But the crazy thing with this is, it says here, thinking about taking Avdija in the top 5 means buying his feeble performance and potential developing a player who coaches can run your offense through. That line would make sense if the Golden State Warriors were not in the top 5. He's not the most explosive athlete, but he's a very, very good ball handler. He's 6'9". He's a legit 6'9". He's can hit wide open off catch and shoot threes. He's a good defender. He's a versatile defender. He can play 1 through 4. He can guard 1 through 4. As well as that, he's deceptively athletic in terms of just dunking the ball. And it says here, like, best use the wing or a big. And the fact that this is a question means the dude can play anywhere. The dude can play absolutely anywhere on the floor. And then you can see now more and more. Like, looking at these articles, this one here from Yahoo on the 14th. This was a week ago. The Warriors reportedly want to draft a wing with number 2 and one player who fits the bill, and it's Deni Avdija. I genuinely think the closer we get to the draft, the more people are going to be talking about this dude as a top 3 pick, especially because it's the Warriors. He slots in perfectly. Whereas there is questions about Andrew Wiggins, how he slots in. Deni slots in perfectly. Whether you want to play Deni at the 3, Draymond at the 4, and somebody at the 5, or do you want to play Draymond at the 5? Deni's got more length than Draymond. Yeah, he's not going to be Kevin Durant level small ball 5, but you never know. Draymond a small ball 5, Deni at the 4. If they want to play Wiggins at the 3, or if they get trade for Wiggins, Clay and Steph, like, that's an elite small ball lineup. He's a guy that can play the 3 in big lineups and can play the 4 in small ball. Exactly what the Golden State Warriors need. And surprise, surprise to nobody who knows anything about Deni, that the Warriors were blown away by Deni. He obviously did well in the workout, and they were also blown away by his work ethic. And it says universal takeaway that he's a great kid. And that's the thing. What a lot of people don't kind of understand about European basketball. And it's a big reason why I think that Deni would fit in perfectly for a Golden State Warriors team more than anyone. And I think he could end up being seen as a bust and have, say, a Bojan Bogdanovic career. Say, average, 15 points a game, 16 points a game in his best years. The thing is that he is a versatile defender, a versatile scorer. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He can handle the ball a little bit. He does a little bit of everything. But his biggest thing is his ability to fit into a team. The vast majority of players that grow up through a European system, especially if they've gone to somewhere like a Euro League system and played underage those Euroleague teams. Unlike in America where, say, a high school coach develops their players so that they can go on to college and get a college scholarship and then maybe go and make the NBA as an individual. In Europe, players, as they grow up, basically they are trained in a way that you can go on and make their specific senior team improve in the future. So they're basically taught basketball in a way to fit into a team. Whereas in America, because of the whole everything money involved, the collegiate system, trying to get into college, get your scholarships, they're almost taught to fit out and be seen as the kind of the alpha player, the alpha dog, the number one guy, so that the colleges want to look at you. Whereas in Europe, a lot of the time players are taught to almost fit in, because the end goal is to be on a Euroleague team, to go all the way up through that one club to play on their senior team. And I think that's where what hasn't really been talked about, that's the biggest advantage Deni has going to somewhere like a Golden State. Because we all know about his game. he's not. If you watch his game, he's not going to do anything that stands out. He's not going to. His highlight clips are not going to look as good as Lamelo's. His highlight clips are not going to look as good as James Wiseman. Two of which I think have a higher ceiling, but do not fit in as well with the Golden State Warriors. I think if the Warriors make this pick, it'll be Deni. I think it'll be Deni. I think in a vacuum, if we were to draft, because you have to take potential into account. If the teams at the top weren't the teams at the top, I would say Deni would probably go in around the number 5 pick because he's a safe option, doesn't necessarily have the upside, and he's not Luka. Like, whatever people are saying about Luka back then, he's not Luka. He's more of a power forward than Luka. Luka was legitimately a ball handler. But yeah, so he is a guy that if for example the Warriors weren't in that top 10, you could see him maybe falling to 6 or 7. And because Golden State are there, I can't see the Warriors passing up. If the Warriors do not trade this pick, if the Warriors do not get someone like a Bradley Beal or a star, I am telling you, this guy is the only guy that the Warriors will take, I think, to go into win now mode. Because if you're a team like Golden State, they're not, like, once the Steph, Clay, and Draymond era ends, they're going to have to rebuild. There's no point trying to rebuild now or do what, say, the Bulls were doing and trying to get younger while Jordan was still there. Put all your chips in the basket put all the chips on the table for this one, for this one core. You got a core of 3 players, and right here in Deni Avdija, there is a perfect player to fit in with that core. And it's looking more and more likely like the Golden State Warriors are going to take him. Initially, I thought the Golden State Warriors were going to trade down and try to take him, but it's gotten to the stage where maybe if you trade down, you're not going to get him. And let's be real, he's not going number 1. He's not going number 1 in the draft. So if the Warriors want him, they have him. And I think they do. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. That's just a quick video talking a little bit about Deni Avdija, why I think he fits in with the Warriors, and why it should not be a surprise if leading up to the draft we hear more and more talk about him potentially going number 2. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.